It was supposed to be a normal Sunday dinner, the kind where the smell of garlic bread fills the kitchen, and someone's always asking to pass the mashed potatoes. We hadn't all been in the same room in months, my wife, her parents, siblings, nieces running around. It felt almost wholesome. Then she handed me the glass. "My mother-in-law, here. I made your favorite," she said, smile tight, tone flat. The drink looked fine, something fizzy with lemon. I said thanks, took it. Tried not to read into it. But when I brought the glass to my lips, something felt off. The smell. The aftertaste tasted bitter, almost metallic, not overwhelming, but enough to make my instincts twitch. I took a small sip, then paused. I've never been the paranoid type, but in that moment, something in my gut said, "Don't drink that." Glanced across the table. She was already looking at me, not smiling anymore, just waiting. The whole table was laughing at a story her brother was telling, but I couldn't hear it. The air had changed. My heartbeat slowed. Skin tingled, and I couldn't shake the thought. She did something. I don't know what, but she did something. I looked down at the glass again, then across the table, her husband's untouched drink. I guess, if I'm being honest. She never really liked me. From the very first handshake, her eyes were scanning, not greeting. There was no warmth, just that tight smile people wear when they're already writing you off. At our engagement dinner, she told my wife he's nice. But does he really fit with the family at our wedding? Gosh. She smiled for the camera, but not for me. I remember looking through our wedding album one night, and every time her eyes were on me, they looked colder than the dress she wore. I used to tell myself it was just a misunderstanding, that maybe I wasn't what she pictured for her daughter, and maybe, in time, I could earn her respect, so I tried. I offered to help at family events. I laughed at jokes that weren't funny. I let the jabs slide. The ones about my job, my background, my quiet nature. She used to call me the calm one. What she really meant was boring, unimpressive, replaceable. My wife would always say, "Just ignore her. She'll come around." But she never did. Marriage didn't thaw her. It sharpened her. She saw me as someone who took something from her, not someone who loved her daughter. And now, sitting at that dinner table with a strange taste on my tongue and her eyes locked on me, I realized maybe she didn't want me in the family at all. I kept staring at the glass in my hand. The taste still lingered on my tongue, bitter, wrong, like aluminum and lemon mixed with guilt. Everyone else was focused on their food. Laughter bounced around the room like nothing was wrong, but my heart was pounding in my ears. I looked up. She was still watching me. Just for a second, but long enough to confirm what I already knew. And that's when something shifted. Inside me, I didn't raise my voice, didn't storm out. I just acted. Her husband, my father-in-law, had stepped away for a moment to take a phone call. His drink sat untouched next to his plate. Same glass, same liquid, same lemon slice on the rim. I reached forward casually, slid his glass toward me. Then I placed mine exactly where his had been. No one noticed, not my wife, not the kids, not even her. I sat back, waited. Minutes passed. He returned, laughing about something someone texted him. He took a bite of food, then picked up the glass and took a long sip. It was like time slowed. I watched the liquid rise to his lips, watched it disappear. He put the glass down, wiped his mouth with a napkin, and kept eating like nothing had happened at first. But then, his fork slowed. His eyes started to blink slower. Heavier, he reached for his water but missed, and I saw her face change. Not panic, not concerned. Fear, a flicker of it, real, raw, flashing across her eyes like a secret getting caught in. The light. That's when I knew. I wasn't crazy. She really did it. But what she didn't know is she just proved it in front of everyone. I excused myself, said I needed to use the restroom, tried to keep my voice steady. Didn't want to raise a single red flag, but I didn't go far. Just slipped down the hallway, out of sight, and waited from there. I could still hear everything. Plates clinking, forks scraping, ceramic light conversation, still rolling. But my attention was zeroed in on her. She was watching her husband now, not with affection, not even with concern, but calculation, like she was counting something. Seconds, maybe. Then he started shifting in his chair, blinking slow, a little pale, confused, like the room wasn't quite staying in one place. She leaned toward. My wife whispered something. Fast, too fast. Urgent. My wife looked puzzled, then glanced toward her dad. Her face fell, and just like that, the mood changed. The energy at the table turned brittle. She told everyone he wasn't feeling well, said maybe the chicken was undercooked, suggested they wrap things up early, but I saw it. I heard it in the tightness of her voice. The way her hands clenched the napkin like it might confess something. She was unraveling. She thought I was in the bathroom. Maybe texting, maybe clueless. She thought she had control. But she had no idea I was still there, still watching, still waiting, and the look on her face. It wasn't guilt, it was fear of what might happen. If the truth came out, she wasn't worried about his health. She was worried he might say something, or that I already knew too much, and she was right. After everyone left, after the polite goodbyes and fake smiles, the house was still. My wife was upstairs, putting her dad to bed early. He was groggy, pale, said he just needed rest. I stayed behind, told her I'd clean up. Truth is, I needed to look around. The kitchen was a mess of half-eaten food and untouched side dishes. But my focus wasn't the dishes, it was the trash. Don't know what I was expecting? A label? A bottle? A clue? I opened the lid at first, nothing but food scraps, crumpled napkins, empty soda cans. But then, near the bottom, I saw it. A small, torn foil casing. Something you'd pop a pill out of. I fished it out carefully, holding it under the hoodlight. There were a few letters still visible on the foil. I didn't need the rest. My stomach dropped. I pulled out my phone and typed it in. Zolpidem. A powerful sedative, usually prescribed for sleep. Side effects in the wrong dosage. Disorientation. Dizziness. Memory loss. Or worse, I looked at the trash. Can again, like it might whisper the rest. Of the truth to me, this wasn't a prank. This wasn't an accident. She had drugged that drink. And if I hadn't switched glasses, I'd be the one upstairs, dizzy and confused, trying to remember my own name. I leaned back against the counter, heart pounding. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't overthinking. She had tried to do something, and she'd nearly gotten away with it. I felt cold all over. This woman, my wife's mother, is capable of poisoning her own son-in-law, and the only thing standing between me and that glass was a gut feeling. The next morning I asked for a family meeting, no drama, no shouting, just a simple request. Can we all sit down in the living room? They said yes, maybe out of habit, maybe because they thought I was going to apologize for making things awkward the night before. My wife sat beside me, still worried about her dad, still trying to keep the peace. Her brother scrolled through his phone. My father-in-law was groggy but coherent. And then there was her. She sat across from me, arms folded tight, eyes scanning, calculating, like a chess player trying to predict my opening move. I didn't drag it out. I pulled out the torn foil from my pocket, placed it gently on the table. I found this in the trash, I said. Everyone froze. She blinked, tilted her head. Oh, that could be anything, she said. Too quickly. I shook my head. It's zolpidem, a sedative. Same one that was in my drink last night. Or rather, the one your husband drank. My wife looked at me in shock. What are you talking about? I took a breath. I tasted it. I knew something was off. I switched the glasses. Her dad looked confused. My wife's hands flew to her mouth and she just went still, no denial. No gasps, just that quiet. Practiced face of someone who'd been caught but didn't know whether to fight or retreat. My voice shook, but I kept going. I don't know what your plan was. To humiliate me? Hurt me? Scare me? But I'm done pretending. This is just tension or passive aggression. This was an attack. I won't be quiet about it. The room was heavy, silent. You could hear the old wall clock ticking. And finally, from my wife, Mom, "Please tell me this isn't real." Mother didn't say a word, because she knew. We all did. After the confrontation, everything felt frozen. Nobody really knew what to say. My wife didn't speak to me that night. Not out of anger, but confusion. Grief. The foundation under her had just cracked wide open. I heard her on the phone with her brother, whispering through tears. She wouldn't do that, right? But she knew. We both did. Her father stayed quiet too. He'd had more to say with his silence than anyone else in the room, and her mother. She went to bed like nothing happened. No apology, no defense. She just retreated into her room, shut the door on the fallout. That was the moment I knew I had to make a choice, not just about her, but about me. Because for years I'd swallowed every insult, every cold look. Every dinner where I felt like a stranger in my own family, I let it slide for the sake of peace, for my wife, for the illusion of unity. But that night, I zipped up a bag, just a small one. Laptop, wallet, a change of clothes. I wasn't running. Was drawing a line. When my wife saw me at the door, she looked like she wanted to say something, so I spoke first. "I'm not asking you to pick sides, but I'm not staying where I'm not safe. Not anymore." She nodded, slowly, tearfully. "I understand," she said, and in that moment, I knew the man I had been, the quiet one who stayed silent to keep the peace. He was gone. What her mother had tried to poison wasn't just a drink. It was the space I was allowed to take up in their world. Not anymore. Truth has a strange way of leaking out. At first, I told no one. I didn't post about it, didn't call friends. I wasn't looking for drama, I just needed space. But silence doesn't hold forever. People noticed. I wasn't around anymore. People asked why my wife was suddenly staying with me at a hotel, or why I wasn't at the usual Sunday dinners. Eventually, the story started to slip in pieces, in whispers, from my wife, from her brother, from my father-in-law, who apparently hadn't been asleep through as much as we thought. And just like that, people started looking at her differently. You could feel it in the way conversations went quiet when she entered. A room in how the neighbors she used to gossip with suddenly avoided eye contact. In the way her sister, once inseparable, sent a short message that said, "What the hell is wrong with you?" She tried to play it off, called it a misunderstanding, said I twisted the facts. But the thing about poison, literal or emotional, is that it stains everything it touches. And no matter how polished your image is, you can't scrub out fear once it's been planted in people's minds. I didn't have to scream, didn't have to seek revenge. I just told the truth. And the truth did what I never could. It showed everyone who she really was, and in a strange, quiet way. That was more powerful than anything else I could have done. It's strange. It's the kind of peace that follows a storm like that. It's not loud, it's not triumphant, it's not the kind of peace that makes you want to jump for joy or post a selfie with the caption "winning." No, it's quiet, still earned. The kind where you wake up in the morning, your chest doesn't feel tight anymore, where your stomach doesn't turn when your phone buzzes, where you can eat dinner and actually taste the food, because there's no venom behind every word, no tension so thick it chokes the flavor out of life. Peace tastes different now, for the first time in a long time. I have control over my space, who comes into it, who stays, and who never gets close again. My wife and I are rebuilding. No promises. No blind loyalty, just honesty. Therapy, boundaries, her father and I talk more now than we ever did before. He never said the words, but I think he knew what she was capable of. Maybe he learned. It's too late how far someone can go when they feel entitled to control everyone else's world. I still get the occasional message. A cousin asking what really happened. A friend of hers trying to smooth it over, but I don't owe them explanations anymore. I don't owe anyone the version of me who swallowed pain for politeness. That man's gone. What's left? A man who trusts his gut, a man who will never sip from, a glass he didn't pour himself, and a man who finally, quietly, feels safe. If I ever wrote her a letter, not that I will, it would probably start like this. You failed. Not in the way you think, not because I'm still standing, still breathing, still building a life without you circling it like a hawk, but because your plan wasn't just about a glass or a night or a sick joke you wanted to reduce me to make. Me small, uncertain, powerless. But here's the thing about trying to break. Someone who's already been through hell. We don't shatter like you expect, we sharpen. I don't hate you. That would still give you too much of me, what I feel now. It's distance and a little sadness. Not for myself, but for what you'll never get to experience. Real love, real trust, real peace. You traded all that for control, and in doing so, you exposed yourself more clearly than I ever could have. Everyone sees it now, but I'm not here to celebrate your fall. I'm here to honor my rise. So no, I don't wish you well, but I do hope you wake up one day and realize the damage you caused, not just to me, but to your own family. You tried to poison me literally and emotionally, but what you didn't know is pain has a half-life, and truth survives. Longer than any lie you served in a glass, so here's to me. It's the man you couldn't erase. And here's to you the lesson I'll never forget.